And now for something completely different.
Surprise! We're back, and we watched Hamilton. I don't know what order these aired in, but this one's first. Welcome back to Cinematic Relief. I'm Thunder.
And I'm Lightning.
Uh,
And we're back.
we're back after a long quarantine that is, not over with, but So, Hamilton released to the public, so to speak, for the first time ever since its incarnation in 2015, I think. In the form of a Disney Plus special that you cannot watch unless you pay. If you have the free trial, you unfortunately cannot watch Hamilton. Basically, I finally got Chris to consume Hamilton, and he finally got me to watch an episode of Drunk History.
Which was a pretty good exchange right there.
Yeah.
So,
Especially because this fucker is halfway through. He's like, we should watch the Drunk History on Hamilton. It's pretty interesting. I was like, okay. I booted up, and fucking the guy who wrote and plays Hamilton is Hamilton. I'm like, you didn't tell me this, Chris.
but yeah, just to get real for a moment,
Yeah.
a lot's been going on in the country lately, and
Yeah.
we're not going to get into that. We already did on the
Yeah,
podcast, which might not be out yet by the time
it'll
this
be
comes
out Friday. We talk about everything that's going on.
Yeah.
In the episode that's going up Friday.
But one of the reasons I waited on this was, to me, it felt I didn't quite understand the concept of this play, and to me it felt very whitewashed in the opposite direction. I felt like this play was something that was bringing it in a direction that still isn't healthy. But you explained it to me very well, which made me understand.
I feel like the last time we had this oh my god, I'm so sorry. I feel like it's just something in my throat. I'm going to take a drink of water real quick. I feel like the last time we had this conversation,
Sip.
we were both younger, and we sort of just quickly resorted to like, no, fuck you, I'm right,
Yeah.
But I, of course, understood where you were coming from. It's easy to confuse the point of the reason this exists this way from an outside perspective.
Right. But the fact that the cast wasn't intentionally primarily people
Non-white.
of color, non-white, the fact that it's, I won't even say coincidental, because he definitely had his friends in this.
Oh,
and
yeah.
that's fair.
No, yeah. I'm pretty sure his three friends in the play are his three friends, like, in real life.
Yeah.
Who, like, have been with him since he conceptualized this.
Right. And the fact that that's the case, and that he got the best people for the best position, it clicked in my head. I was like, oh, that's no big deal.
Because the point of the play, if you had to sum up Hamilton in one sentence, right? The reason for this play, the reason that Lin-Manuel Miranda wanted to write it, is not, let's do American history, but no one's going to be white.
Right.
It's no one gives a shit about Alexander Hamilton, and apparently he was awesome.
Right.
So I want to tell everyone about him.
And he did it in his own way.
In a very entertaining way.
Yeah. And he got the best people to make that performance, and I can 100% get behind that. You get the best person for the job, despite whatever race or ethnicity they are. That's the right direction.
Right, yes, yeah.
Funny enough, the thing I was worried about, this play actually is 100% in the direction I want to go in, which is just get the person who can do it right.
Yeah.
So that's awesome. That was really cool.
So, elephant in the room, at least a little bit. You are not a fan of musicals, correct?
It really depends. It's got to grab my attention. I mean, showing up to a historical musical is definitely, for those of you who don't know, and I don't think anybody knows if they only know me from this channel, but
you love history.
I love history. As a matter of fact, Anthony and I are both music majors. I was a history minor.
Yes.
And I actually, if I was to have a generalized area of where my expertise is based on the classes I took, it's all based around the Revolutionary War. Not intentional, that's just how it worked out.
Right.
I actually love World War II history, but
right. Yeah, you correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like I remember you saying once that American history is your least favorite part of learning history. Am I misremembering that? At one point, I feel like you...
ironically enough, I think what I was getting at was the founding part of our history is the one I find least.
The part that
The part that, not only the part that we watched, the part that I took all my classes in school.
Yeah.
But I definitely would change my opinion now just because I've learned so much about it.
Yeah.
Speaking of history, I don't know if it's too early for this. Should we get into it? I wanted to tell you the history thing I was going to tell you. And I said I'll wait till we're on it.
Yeah, sure. Whatever, man.
Lafayette. So yeah.
Yes. Sorry, I blacked out. What happened?
No, it's okay. Super cool guy.
Well, we're 3 hours into the podcast.
French general.
The real Lafayette.
The
you're
real
referring
Lafayette.
to.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah.
No, not the actor.
The actor seemed pretty cool as well.
Yeah, the actor was cool. Definitely did a better Thomas Edison.
Jefferson.
Jefferson. What the
fuck, dude?
Thomas Jefferson. I don't know why I just went right to Edison. Had nothing to do with politics.
No, absolutely not.
Wasn't even alive during
It was
that
also
time.
a big sham, but
Yes.
that's a different
Yes.
podcast.
Yes.
Talking about Lafayette.
Lafayette. George Washington,
Mm.
after the Revolutionary War, offered Lafayette a gold sword for helping them in their conquest against the British. Sorry to make this into a history lesson. It's going to be cool.
No,
Stick
I
with
mean
me.
the Hamilton is a history lesson.
Yeah.
We're just not rapping.
Right. Well, I mean, we could be, but Lafayette refuses respectfully and says, I just want 20 barrels of American soil to bring back to France so that when I die, I can be buried in free soil.
That's rad.
That's super cool. And they did it. They
Yeah.
sent him back to France with 20 barrels of American soil.
I mean, why not? The man wanted some dirt.
Right.
Like-
But it gets cooler.
Oh, okay.
When he died, an American flag is placed over Lafayette's grave.
Okay.
Fast forward 200 years.
Oh.
Hitler invades Normandy,
Okay.
takes France, takes down every French flag, but leaves Lafayette's American flag up because he respected Lafayette so much for what he did.
Really?
Yes. Hitler,
That sounds like that's a weird. Hitler was so weird,
the
dude.
asshole who cared about nobody,
Absolutely
respected Lafayette enough to leave his American flag hanging.
That is so weird.
And
that's
again-
one of those fucking facts about Hitler where you're just like, this dude was weird. Maybe.
There's still more.
Oh Christ.
When Americans, I was gonna say invaded Normandy, but they were trying
Helped.
to.
We were helping.
Yes. General, I always say Patterson. I can't tell if it's the famous general.
Okay. All right.
Walked up to Lafayette's grave, famously walked up to Lafayette's grave and said, "We came back for you,"
Oh,
because the
damn.
Americans liberated France from the
Hitler.
Germans,
Yeah.
from Hitler. So I thought that was cool.
That's cool.
Yeah, that's my
That's
little
cool.
my little Lafayette history lesson.
That's good. Now tell me what you thought about the plague.
It was good. No, it was
no,
really good.
I really like Hamilton. So this is Chris's first time seeing it.
Yeah.
I've listened to it all the way through about 3 times, and this is my second time watching it. I watched it once yesterday with my parents.
Mm.
My dad has listened to it all the way through once. My mom has never seen it. She seemed to really like it. It's interesting going from just listening to it to watching it.
That must have been interesting for you because this was my first any kind of consumption
yeah.
of Hamilton, so I got the full experience. You've only had half. For a
Right.
while.
There's a couple songs that I was like, oh, this guy is singing this one.
Yeah,
okay, I
yeah.
thought it was this other guy. And it gets even more confusing when watching it, when you realize that most of the main cast comes back in the second act playing a different
Right.
character. And you can't tell. You just assume it's going to be. Even when I saw the dude, I was like, it's got to be a different dude. It's a different
Right.
dude on the tape.
Right.
And also, specifically King George, I always imagined him like dancing with like his dudes behind him, and he's literally just standing there,
yeah,
like barreling the whole time. And it worked, but I was just like, is he ever going to move? I'm getting a little nervous.
As
It was
a
clearly intentional.
Oh yeah, absolutely. But on the music side of it, there was a lot of interesting stuff happening. There was one harmony. The guy who was standing on the pedestal in Hamilton
Yes.
had a back and forth at the beginning, which was
Seabury.
really cool. That was like a half rap, half harmony,
Yeah.
and it was cool. I really enjoyed that.
Yeah, that's very impressive. Equally as impressive is the when they're dueling, when they're counting
Yes.
and duel. Yeah,
yeah.
I've seen like 2 separate video essays on that one song.
in the song stylings, depending on the character's position in the play, is interesting. Like every main character was rapping.
Yeah.
Every protagonist was
right.
rapping.
Yes. Except Burr.
Right.
Burr always had like a jazzy R&B song.
Right. And George had a very posh, almost weird enough, almost a Beatles like, just poppy song. The King George.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, King George. I thought you meant George Washington.
No.
King George is fascinating because he is like a traditional
Right.
musical song.
Right.
He like singing. Forget about the lyrics for a second. He's singing a song that sounds like it could show up in a Disney film.
Right.
And everyone else is, rapping and R&B-ing. It's awesome.
Right. Well, that's what I'm saying, and it's intentional, obviously. Well, that
yeah.
one more, but even down to Hamilton's wife, Eliza.
Yeah.
She almost has like what's the word I'm looking for? Like ballads.
Yeah.
And it's just interesting picking who gets what kind of song.
Yeah.
And it was all intentional, clearly, because it's all organized.
Oh yeah. Yeah. No, everyone has their own style.
Yeah.
And it's clearly intentional. Except for Hamilton, who kind of dips his toes into all of them.
Well,
at
he's
some
the
point.
center of the story. He kind of
Right.
has to.
Yeah, no, because that's so cool because that's the point because he's like a part of all these other people's lives.
Yeah.
I love how. Have you ever seen John Adams starring Paul Giamatti?
No.
Oh, really?
No.
Oh, it's very good. It's a little dry, but it's really good. It's basically the same thing as Hamilton without the music. Like conceptually, it's let's tell a story people know, but from a very focused perspective. In this case, being John Adams and Thomas Jefferson in the John Adams movie. It was like a miniseries. It was like 6 hours long. He's very shy, and the point is like. He writes like a beast. He writes all this stuff. He's like a super good writer. But you meet him and he's like, oh yeah, hi, I'm timid and scared. And then you cut to Hamilton,
Right.
and this dude's like, hey, welcome to the second act, fuckos. I'm gonna dance around the whole screen, the whole stage.
Every time I'm on stage.
Yeah, no, I love it. I love Thomas Jefferson in this play.
The wardrobes were really nice too.
Yeah.
True to form. I liked that.
You pointed out something that
yeah.
I didn't
And
put together until
Well, I questioned something, and you had the correct response.
right. A response I didn't have until you pointed it out. All the extras are like just sort of like plainly dressed. They're dressed in like appropriate historical attire, but they're all like wearing
Well,
white.
kind
and it's very
of.
simple.
It's all cut off.
Yeah.
But I think that's because they got to dance the whole
Right,
night. They're in
yeah.
like every scene.
But all those extras play like 3 or 4 different parts.
Right.
British general, people at the pub. So I feel like the wardrobe was kept simple so they could add coats and they could play different
Right.
roles.
No,
'Cause if
it
you
makes
notice,
a lot
there
of
was
sense.
there was a couple members of the the company that had bigger roles. Like one of the people of the company also played Charles Lee.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
one of them played the husband character who writes the letter.
Right. No, that makes sense. I mean, at first, and I kind of said it as a joke to you, but I was like, I feel like they put a lot of budget into the main characters and then just didn't have any money for the backups. But no, that makes perfect
Yeah.
sense because they
You
had to switch
pointed
in
out-
and out of wardrobes.
You pointed out something that, of course, I noticed, but it's so impressive. There's no, there's minor set changes, but like there's literally they're in the same
Yeah.
room the whole time.
Yeah.
There's the stairs and the balcony, which you don't find out until like 3/4 through Act 2 that it can move.
Fucking George Washington comes barreling in. I invented the tank.
Hello, I am your president.
Christ, if he invented the tank, I think we'd also have England. Like, I think they'd take it a step further. If like you just one tank, if you just plopped one tank
Dude, that's
in the
like
revolutionary time.
That's like a B plot of Bill and Ted. Like we gave George Washington a tank. Now America is 3 continents.
Did I show you Bill and Ted?
No, I've never seen Bill and Ted.
Oh, we should watch Bill and Ted, especially since the new one's coming out.
Yeah, the new one looks. I did watch the trailer for the new one. It looks pretty whack.
I mean,
in a good way.
Oh, okay. Okay. How is it whack in a good way?
It was like, this is weird, but
That's kind of the point.
Yeah, no, that was my understanding when I watched the trailer. I was like, this is weird, but I think like I get it. Like I think this is supposed to be this way.
Yeah. But no, it was really good. The music was really good. One thing, in case anybody doesn't know this, I want to say you knew this, but I didn't know this until literally 2 days ago. 2 days ago, maybe even yesterday.
It was Saturday.
It was
you were hanging out
Saturday.
with Kelsey.
Yeah.
2 days ago.
Yeah. Every note, even the rapping, is notated. So it's the same exact every single night.
Yeah.
That should be an industry standard for rap.
Yeah. Yeah. There's no freestyling in Hamilton.
Yeah.
And
well, not even freestyling. Just hit the same melodic note.
Yeah.
Because sometimes, and I'm not saying all the time. Like I know people are gonna say, "Well, this person does it," and I'm sure there are. I'm sure there's plenty of people who respect their craft enough to learn it and do it. But there's some famous people out there who just don't care, who are rappers. It's like, well, I did it rhythmically correct, right? Good enough, 2 thumbs up. And it's like, well, no, make it sound like it was on the album, and then we'll talk.
Yeah. No, and this is not the point that you were trying to make. This is not why you brought it up. But every song is written by the same dude.
Yeah, that's cool.
Named Lin-Manuel Miranda. And he is...
I hope he makes another one.
Another what? Play?
Just play. Doesn't even have to be...
This is his second play.
Oh, really?
His first one is called In the Heights. It's about to be a movie.
No kidding.
Yeah.
What's that one about?
The Heights of Spanish Harlem.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
And funny, I actually really love this. He played the main character in that one too. But the main character is a young dude, and as you can tell by, he's kind of old now. So instead of playing the main character in the movie version, he's going to play the first character in the movie, the character that has the opening line you see first. He's going to be that character.
Oh, okay.
I thought that was really cool.
Yeah, yeah.
When I heard that. Do you want to know a fun, super true story about President Barack Obama?
Sure.
I forget what it's called, but you know how the White House has like the day where like entertainers come, and it's like it's Bill Hader's turn to,
to wow the president,
entertain the president, because it's like the ball or whatever it's called. One time, Lin-Manuel Miranda was there with his 3 buddies, the people who play Lawrence and Mulligan and Lafayette, and he did Hamilton. That was the first time he did the opening number where they're explaining who he is.
Oh, okay.
How does a bastard orphan son of a whore, that thing. And he did that. You could watch it. It was recorded. It's a little like different. It's a little rough. Different actors are playing different parts and stuff. And Barack Obama loved it so much that he was like, not that I have any say in the Broadway scene, but like, you have my blessing, and if you turn this into a big Broadway musical, I'll be there opening night. And then he was.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That's very cool.
I feel like in light of current events, I'm more apt to say this, but I love Barack Obama. I really do love that guy.
I'm not going to say I agreed with everything he did, but he is a cool guy.
Yeah.
He is a cool, but you can say that about any president.
Have you ever seen his episode of Comedians in a Car Getting Coffee with Jon Stewart?
Jerry Seinfeld?
Jerry Seinfeld, for fuck's sake. Oh, my God.
When quarantine started, I started getting into that show.
Yeah.
I don't think I got to Obama's episode.
I don't watch that show. I've only seen a couple episodes. The Obama episode is great because they're not allowed to leave the premises of the White House.
Oh, that's funny.
So they just get coffee in like the break room, and they're supposed to have
in a car.
They're supposed to have the part when they're driving around in the car, right? So when that part comes, say his name again.
Jerry Seinfeld.
Fuck me, Jerry Seinfeld.
He literally shows up in one of our video essays.
You're right. Yeah. Yeah, that's right. Jerry Seinfeld is driving the car. Obama's in the passenger seat, and they try to leave. And they roll up to the door. He's like, "Hey, can we just
You know
leave?"
what? I feel like I've seen that. Maybe I have seen his
Maybe
episode.
I've told you about it before. But he's like, "Can we leave?" And the Secret Service is like, "No, I'm sorry, you can't do that." And then like 10 minutes later in the episode, Obama is driving the car, and Jerry Seinfeld is like, "You try. You're the dude. They have to let you out of here." And he's like, "We're just gonna go around the block. We're just gonna leave. We're just gonna around the block." And he's like, "I'm sorry, sir. I can't let you do that."
At least they try. That's funny.
Oh my God! I know that we were talking about Hamilton, but also the Barack Obama episode of Between Two Ferns, where he's
where he's
like, "Can I push this? I'm gonna push this button," and he pushes it, and he's like, the curtains fall. He's like, "Thank you for letting me film in the Oval Office for all these years."
That was awesome. No, Obama's a cool dude, and it's funny because it's like you don't know what you're missing until it's gone.
Oh my God!
And you're left with what you
No,
have.
I know. We say it in almost every fucking video essay we write, but hindsight really is 20/20.
Yeah. That's the thing. We don't get political.
No, we
don't
don't.
get political.
We're talking, except when we talk about Hamilton, which is what we're going to continue doing right
yeah.
now.
Okay. Obama's cool.
Obama is cool. That's not political. I want to bro with that guy.
Yeah.
He seems neat.
Fun. I mean, me as opposed to the average as opposed to the average person
Yes.
have kind of not a weird experience watching stuff set in this time period, but a different one. And I don't think you and I have ever really gotten into detail about this.
Yeah, I don't know what you're referring to.
I kind of mentioned it a bit here, but my family came over on the Mayflower, and not to give too much of my family away, but one of my ancestors was a very prominent role on the Mayflower. Like, I mean, he's got a Wikipedia page. He's got the whole deal. My family's played a big role in history throughout history, especially American history, where one of his ancestors, his descendants, one of my ancestors, was actually one of Washington's spies. So whenever I watch something like this, it's always like, am I going to see a relative of mine?
Him up? Yeah.
Yeah. And
you jokingly, when they were like, "We've got a traitor on the inside, it's Hercules Mulligan," you jokingly were like, "My ancestor did that too." But like, they clearly wanted to do this with a small cast, and tell a very focused story. I'm surprised that.
Sorry to interrupt.
No, I was just gonna say I'm surprised that in that scene Hercules Mulligan even gets his own like. Here
I know.
because the show's all about Hamilton, but
right.
I'm glad that he's like, look at my cool friends too.
There's this show on Netflix called Washington Spies.
Okay.
And if you want to know about my relative, he's actually a main character in the series.
Oh, did they change the names?
Nope.
Oh.
And it's funny because there's this part, and like, the two main characters are in trouble. It's like episode 1, Brits are coming. This dude just rides in on a horse, double barrel, and just taking everybody out. And he gets off, and they're like, "Oh, it's blank." And I was like, I think he's going to survive. Because the whole show was like, who's going to live? Who's going to die? Who makes it out?
You watch this thing to the end, you see the scene where he gets shot and killed, and you're like, oh, I'm fading away. You start turning to dust.
Well, that was the thing. It came on, and I was like, well, that's a spoiler. I was like, that sucks.
What's it called?
Washington Spies. It's on Netflix.
Go check that out.
It's
on
a really
Netflix.
cool
I'm
show.
assuming it's a documentary series.
Well, not a documentary. It's like a TV show.
Oh.
It's like
okay.
Actors and I mean, it's historically accurate. I know because there's not a minor, but like a secondary character they didn't have to put in who was a real life person. My relative.
Right. Yeah.
So like it's historically accurate.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It's just cool. He wasn't like Hamilton level, but it's like there's Washington, there's Hamilton, and then there's what he was doing.
Yeah.
But it's cool. He worked directly with Washington, and like, so whenever something like this comes up, it's one of those things. Anything in that time period between like the 1600s when they showed up.
No, that you're just like maybe.
Yeah,
maybe
essentially.
It'll be mentioned. I wanted to commend Hamilton for not like because you hear play about Alexander Hamilton and you're one of two people. You say, okay, that sounds cool, or I don't know anything about Alexander Hamilton. Right. And that's the point of the play. You know, the point of the play is like just sit down and learn about Alexander Hamilton. Finally learn about him. And it's not preachy. There's that one line at the very end where Angelica, she says something along the lines of like, and that's the story here. That's how it goes. Who is Alexander Hamilton? Now you know.
Right.
And like that's it. Like where I feel like where a lesser play would take the first song to be like, well, let me sit you down and tell you about your ancestors. And this one was just like, bastard and whore are gonna be in the first sentence. and
they also don't. They frame him as is. They don't frame him as an angel. They
they didn't leave out the cheating on his wife or anything like that. No, if this guy did it got into this play.
Yeah,
one way or another.
I didn't know about his son, which was interesting.
Him basically being the cause of his son's death. Yeah, that's fucked. Arguably more fucked than his own death.
Yes. Also, I mentioned this to you. I want to mention it on the mic.
Yeah, go for it.
It failed once. He has field research that pointing your gun in the sky does not stop a duel. They don't turn around and look at each other. They turn around and shoot.
Right.
As soon as you get the shot, you shoot.
Yeah, I think
there's no time. That was ridiculous of him to think that other guy was going to pause a second to see that he wasn't aiming at him.
Well, the son actually, if you're going to fucking do that, if you're going to be an idiot and throw your gun into the sky and be like, I surrender by shooting my gun, which will make a gunshot sound and make me think that you shot me. He did it. He already, at 7, he was like, I'm going to put it up now. So when he turns around, he'll already see me.
Yeah.
The asshole shot at like 6.5, of course.
Right.
But like, he was at least a little smarter than Hamilton, who was just like, as far as the play framed it, was like, all right, the last second, and we're good. And then he gets shot.
If you're not going to do that, don't even turn around. If you're not going to shoot.
Right, yeah.
Just stand there with your gun up.
Yeah. No, dude, I don't think I would do that. If I had to do the duel like this in that time, I'm pretty sure I would shoot. But if I was going to go the put my gun in the air thing, I think I would we'd walk back and I'd just do it immediately. And just stand there with my gun up the whole whatever you're waiting for to turn around. Just to make it clear that I'm not shooting. And if you shoot me, you're the asshole.
Well, that's the thing, is if you don't turn around, they just shot a guy in the back.
Yeah.
That's the turning around is, I feel like, what would get you anxious, what would get you nervous. Like, oh, here we go.
Well, yeah. Yeah.
So if you just stand there,
that's what the
it
whole
diffuses everything.
That's what the whole
unless that's not honorable, maybe there was something where
you have to do it, or
you're a pussy if you don't turn around,
or like the duel is legally incomplete unless you turn around, and if you get shot in the back, it's not the other person's fault or some shit like that. Yeah, I mean that's what the whole summon all the courage you have line is about.
Dude, let me tell you about real life duels. I was telling you about it.
So was there paperwork that because I know they were legal at some point, but was
I think
there
you needed witnesses.
That's it, huh? You don't need to we are going to duel at this time. Here you
go,
government.
This wasn't the Wild West. This was before the Wild West. Nobody gave a shit.
Right,
how are you even gonna prove if you kill somebody?
That's a good point. I never in my head, Wild West de facto takes place before everything else, but that's just not the case. It basically went American Revolution, Wild West, cars, and then everything else.
If that's how you want to do it, sure. But these guns were so inaccurate, and I was telling you this. You think doing a duel once is scary? Like having to do the walk?
Yeah.
Sometimes they just aim, shoot, both miss, awkward. How awkward is that?
And then they're just like, oh shit, and then they're both
they start over.
Oh my god, really?
You start from the top.
That's
it was very gentlemanly, because if you just sit there and reload, then that's not fair. In their eyes, that's not fair. You got to reload, because fucking if you had to reload, you'd be staring at each other for 5 minutes.
Okay, oh my god. Okay, so sorry. I don't think I quite put this into cohesive thought until right now. So these guns often misfire.
Yes, not
and
even misfire, are inaccurate. So you still get shot at. It just whizzes by your head or something.
Okay.
Somebody aims at you. The gun is so bad, it just shoots left a bit.
That's, first of all,
horrifying.
Bad gun.
Well, yeah. Well, it was,
So, oh my god, it's Russian roulette at that point. Literally, it's gambling at that point.
Absolutely.
It's oh God, we're on the 5th run of this.
Yep.
I've shit my pants twice.
That's what I'm saying. Is I'm glad you're getting the full spectrum because I was going to bring
Because
that up.
imagine like
you can only
you both fire and you both miss. Then you're in your head about like, are we really gonna fire at each other again?
Well, here's what would happen from that point. In the play even touches upon it like vaguely.
In the countdown,
Yeah, they're like most end without someone getting shot.
right?
You would literally sit there, start over, shoot at each other till one of you say, "Fuck it, I don't care anymore."
Yeah, you get bored.
You don't get bored. You just say, "Is this really worth it at this point?"
Yeah. God, you've got.
I've faced death 8 times in a row. Are we
Because-
really gonna go for a 9th?
There's 3 duels in this movie. Obviously, we're not gonna sit here and theatrically misfire, right? So
Right.
so each duel is settled with one bullet.
That was rare. That his son and him died on the first shot.
Well, I'm saying it. Is that really how it happened? Because we're making a
maybe.
play out of it.
Well, if they both surrendered, why do it on like your 3rd try?
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
So it I feel like it's gotta be.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, how scary, how horrifying.
No,
like if you've got to go
yeah.
through that, not once, not even once, and you're dead. It could be like your 8th time, and they finally get you.
And those were legal for like quite some time,
oh
right?
yeah.
That's
I don't know
That's-
when dueling ended. It was definitely somewhere in the 1900s, maybe earlier.
yeah. I remember someone remarking that it lasted for like way too long.
Yeah, no, it was at least 200 years
That's.
of legal dueling.
I thought I saw a fly. That's so weird. That's so weird. That's such an archaic way. You'd think that these people who are like, we're sophisticated, we're going to take our land from the British, and then they do, would have back then come to the conclusion, like, even Aaron Burr even says it. He's like, duels are immature and stupid.
These are also the people who are like, every man is free, but. I mean, they had some issues.
Yeah. This is just a testament to how so hyper-focused this play is on the man, the myth, Alexander Hamilton. They mention slavery once.
Yeah, I noticed that.
It's just not a big deal as far as this story is concerned.
Well, it wasn't a big deal back then.
No.
Nobody was disputing it then.
Eliza mentions being
That was
on
50
like
years later.
yeah, no, that's what I was gonna say. Yeah, how long? Because
Abraham Lincoln.
Yeah,
16 presidents. There were no term.
right.
endings.
There was no term limit.
Yeah. I feel awful. I don't know if she was still alive. When,
Yeah, I was gonna say, was Eliza alive for the like official like abolishment of slavery?
Well, 1780s is when they're saying, or was it even later than that? I feel like they're saying Hamilton died in the 1780s.
Elizabeth Schuyler died 1804, and slavery was abolished
I
in
don't-
18.
Yeah, it was a long time after that.
1833.
Yeah.
So she was definitely on the, what's the opposite of the tail end? She was at the very beginning of the
Yeah.
maybe slavery's
Abraham
not
Lincoln
a good
was a child, I think, or at least a teenager.
when she died. Yeah. So
Man.
also speaking of her, we talked about this briefly before we were recording, but the last scene, the last moment of this play is very weird. She kind of just like
Yeah.
gasps and then like yells a bit. I interpreted that as her dying of a heart attack.
And I think you're right. I don't know what else it could be. It's just a weird emotion choice,
Because
if not
she-
that.
Because she's describing her whole entire life,
Yeah.
and then like all the characters are in white to be like they're all dead. Remember Washington? He died off camera. And then Hamilton takes her hand and like walks her and then like lets her go, and she's just like she's center stage for maybe the first time the whole play.
Mm.
And then that happens. So I was like, oh, I think she died of a heart attack of old age just now in front of us.
No, I think you interpreted it correctly. Also, these one small slight,
Mhm.
and it's at the it's not at the play, it's not at the music. It's I guess it would be costume design.
Okay.
They could have thrown a wig on or put some like wrinkles on him. These characters had time in between.
There's literally a
songs.
line where they say his hair is gray and
yeah,
his hair
and
is
it's
not gray.
It hasn't
Yeah.
changed.
No, I think they were given I don't know this for sure. I could have done research. I did not. I apologize. I am under the after watching it for sure. I'm under the impression that they were given very little to put on the best play to be written in the last 10 years. And I think they just made do. I think they spent a lot of the money writing the music and making the music absolutely perfect. So when it got time to set design, they were like, we'll do the spinning stage, we'll do one set and minimal costume changes. And
it worked.
You got to think, like, other than intermission, Lin-Manuel Miranda's like in every scene.
Oh yeah.
He's like,
well, that's the thing though, is intermission is when they age.
Yeah.
So like something could have happened there, but I think you're right. It might just be due to small budget, which it is what it is. It didn't really take away from the play. They maybe could have not commented on
his
aging
gray hair.
Yeah.
But it is also, it's a little funny. It's not supposed to be, but you can't help but laugh when the dude who's playing Lawrence shows up and now he's the son and he's like, I'm a little boy. This is me act like boy.
Yeah.
It's a little funny at first.
Yeah.
Oh man, what was I just gonna say? I don't know. I don't know what I was
And
gonna
end
say.
of podcast. It was really good. You should definitely check it out if you haven't checked it out yet. If you had that weird thought I had, you're completely off mark. And this is a great step for the future of this country right now.
Oh yeah, definitely. Oh yeah, we were talking about this. I don't know if they did this now intentionally or if this has been the plan for years to release this on July 3rd, 2020 on Disney Plus, but it came at a good time for many reasons. And like you were saying, with all due respect, I knew you were wrong. I knew that once you watched it, that you'd be like, "Oh, okay." But there was no way to watch it,
right?
And I didn't want to be like, "Chris, listen to this thing."
I wouldn't have.
No, I know you
even
wouldn't
as
have.
good as it was, you're not gonna get me any play. You're not gonna get me to sit there and listen to a play on audio and have that be the main focus. If you have it on in the background, whatever.
Right.
But I'm not gonna sit there for 2
dude,
hours and 40 minutes just listening.
The only reason I've never been like, you know what, this play in Broadway, I'm going to listen to it because I can't go see it. The only reason I did this is because literally everyone, Brad, Megan, who fucking, you name it, who they're telling me to listen to Hamilton. I literally, I was playing Breath of the Wild, and I was like, I'm just going to go in my room. I'm going to fuck around in Breath of the Wild. It had like just come out a couple months prior. And I was like, I'm just going to play Breath of the Wild, shut my brain off, and just focus on 3 hours of Hamilton. And like I said, I've done that about 3 times at this point. Everyone, I mean, a lot's happening, but a lot of people on Twitter are like, hey, fucking, why isn't every goddamn Broadway musical there's a movie made out of it like this? Because this fucking rocks.
Yeah. It's true. We have Shrek the musical and SpongeBob the musical
and Newsies.
And
that's
Newsies.
it.
And there they are.
Oh, shit. Roger Ebert.
You know what? Don't let him... Don't.
Okay.
Don't let him ruin
You know what?
this conversation.
If there was ever a time to don't.
Yeah.
It's now.
No. We went off on him on the last podcast we did, which probably won't be up for like another month, but that's fine.
Yeah, that one's probably the least important priorities-wise right now. I just love Hamilton so much, and I like that I have context now. There was a couple things, like one of the best songs in the whole goddamn thing, in my opinion, The Room Where It Happens.
Yeah,
there's a lot of choreography that you do not see, obviously, when you were listening to it, and I was like, this song is cool, but like, can we get to the point? But like, the point is, look at Aaron Burr go, you know?
Well, that's what I was saying, and I feel like I wouldn't be able to stand it in just the music version, because I said it to you, and I said it kind of jokingly, but I was kind of right. Not right, but I kind of meant it. The song is about how nobody knows what happened.
No, it's a whole like 4.5 minute song just to explain to us, the audience, that when we were doing research for this play, there's a tiny bit where we can't get any info about.
And it's important.
That's another thing, and this is not a problem I have with Hamilton. This is a problem I think that plagues every single play, where everyone who sits down to write a play is like, well, it's got to be 3 hours long.
Yeah.
And there's just a couple songs that, as good as they are a little pointless.
Yeah, a
Like,
little long in the
room-
tooth. That song could have happened. It didn't have to be that long.
Right. I fucking love that song, but like I'll admit that if there was a song you were gonna cut for time,
Yeah.
if you had to cut for time, it's gonna be cut that one shorter. Or like I don't need to like. There was like a 4.5 minute song about how they're grieving about their son, and like as good as that song was, I got the point in the first couple minutes. They moved uptown and now they're quiet, like solemn, like they're just mourning their son for a couple years or whatever. There's just plays tend to do that, where if you watch a whole play, you're like, all right, I'm digging this song, but like we could have cut this for time.
Yeah.
And it's not, like I said, it's not just Hamilton. It's most plays, if not all plays.
I think that's another thing that turns me away from plays is the it has to be, if I'm going to sit down for that amount of time, it's got to be something Avengers Endgame, which is a 26 movie saga that I've spent watching and have invested in to sit down and watch something for that
I'm
long.
glad you brought up Endgame, because I was going to also bring that up, that like Endgame is a little longer than the Disney Plus movie version of Hamilton. And it plays, just by nature of them being plays and it being the year 2020, are a little more boring than major motion pictures.
Yes.
Less so when there's music.
Yeah.
But I would if you were like, here's this other play, there's no singing, do you want to watch it? Even if it was something I'd be way into, it's a play on fucking Yu-Gi-Oh! I think I would watch Avengers Endgame again before watching that one for the first time.
Yeah.
And I've got to give it to this play. Very long, but it keeps your attention.
Oh, yeah, no, there was, I mean, if there were any lulls, they were brief.
Yeah.
But my eyes got tired, but I explained that to you. I think it's reading 2 hours and 40 minutes of
I had
subtitles.
I had subtitles on.
And my eyes are just drawn to them.
Yeah.
Like, there was,
yeah.
you know, I can't help it but look at them.
I have a question for you, my friend Chris.
Sure.
That is not related to Hamilton. Feel free to say no.
About duels?
Yeah, do you want to do a duel? No. I've just never experienced it. We can fire with blanks, I promise. Wink. No, you have talked in the past, oh God, he's freaking out, about disliking musicals.
Yeah.
And I don't love musicals. There's a couple that I really love, this one included. Would you be down? Feel free to say no, because definitely got a different mood than Hamilton. It's definitely very like, this is a musical. But would you be down to watch the movie version of Les Mis? It's probably just as long. It's very long. It is.
So here's the deal.
Yeah.
There are 2 musicals I've seen recently.
Mhm.
One being this, which definitely grabbed my attention just due to the nature of it.
Mm.
And then there was Shrek the Musical, which I watched with Pauline, which I also didn't mind.
Why did you? Okay.
She
Why
liked
did-
Shrek the Musical.
Oh, she actually like knew about it and wanted to like.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, cool.
No, I didn't just randomly say, "Hey,
I
Pauline,
thought
tonight
you-
let's watch Shrek."
No,
the
I
Musical."
honestly thought you guys were like, Shrek the Musical, we've gotta.
No,
But
no,
she,
no.
She was
She
actually
likes it.
Okay, cool.
That one was a little long in the tooth as well. But I think for a play for me to enjoy it, it's really got to grasp me. I'm not sure if that one will.
Okay,
I've seen Liam Neeson do it. He refused to sing.
that's not how it happened, but sure.
No. It was a musical. He showed up on set. and
No,
he
it was
said-
it's like 100-year-old book.
He said, "What is this
that
shite?"
they turned into a musical.
Liam Neeson said, "What is this shite?
The movie version.
I don't sing. I've never sung, and I never will." And then
That
he
is-
punched everybody.
That's-
Everybody on set.
You know what? You just jogged my memory. That is actually how it happened. And I'm best friends with Christy Carlson Romano in real life. The movie version, the movie musical version, It's got Hugh Jackman.
I know.
It's got
And he sings all his own.
Oh well, yeah. No, the impressive thing I think what you're trying to refer to in Les Mis is that none of it is ADR'd. They do all the singing live on set, and it doesn't really matter once you're watching it. You can't really tell, but it is cool and impressive. Les Mis is my favorite musical. The movie version is great. Fuck John Tron and whatever he says about the movie version. I really like it. I also didn't think I would. I'm not just saying that. My dad rented it one night, and I was like, I'll watch it. And I, absolutely loved it. There's definitely... This happened in Hamilton, too. But there's a part in the Les Mis movie, specifically the movie, where you're like, oh, that's it. And then you're like, oh, wait, that's not it. And then there's another half of the movie. I'm not even talking about the intermission that is clearly in Hamilton. I'm talking about, there was a part in the first act where you and me yesterday, where we both separately, we were like, well, that's Act 1. And then there's, another 15 minutes.
Yeah.
But this is to a more extreme where I'm like, that's the, the note, and we're done with the note. And I'm like, that's the end of the movie? And I'm like, oh, no. It's got another hour and 20. All right.
I'll make a deal with you.
Okay. Oh, God. What am I going to have to watch?
In return for watching Les Mis, the movie.
Yes. Which I was going to say I promise you'll like, but I'm not going to promise that. I promise that I'm not lying in saying that it is my favorite musical. And
okay.
I've watched it a number of times. It's got a lot of big names in it. Russell Crowe is in it. Anyways.
In its extended length.
Mm-hmm.
Just to remind you of its extended length before I say what I have to say and you say, well, that's a lot.
Let me look up how long Les Mis is.
Okay,
not
all
that
right.
It matters.
No. We'll take a brief intermission.
Hang on,
of this podcast.
No, fuck you. Les Mis
all right.
movie. Spell movie correctly. You dumb shit. Les Mis movie length. How's this Googling going? 2 hour 40. Exactly the same amount as Hamilton.
Which is pretty lengthy.
Yes. Oh yeah. No, it's a play.
I would like you.
Yeah.
To pick, and you get to pick 5 episodes of Drunk History to watch with me.
Oh, I mean, I'll watch Drunk History, dude. I'm just, and it's not a secret. I don't drink, and I've never drank, and I have the story about my uncle or whatever, where he's like, oh, whatever, who cares? No one cares anymore. And I've been very, it just makes me uncomfortable. But I'm growing older, and the older I grow, the more comfortable I'm getting with it. I watched, that. By the way, we meant to talk about that too. We have plenty of time to do that. But I watched that episode of Drunk History based off Hamilton. And it was fine. I feel like sometimes it might get a little much.
Yeah.
As terms,
But I mean the thing, and I think the title in itself kind of threw you off, because why wouldn't? It's called Drunk History. But it's not, the show isn't literally watch this guy make an ass of himself for an hour, for 20 minutes, while he tries to mumble through a historical story.
Yeah.
The show, as you saw, the levels of drunkenness definitely varies, and that's entirely based on the storyteller.
Yeah.
But it usually doesn't interfere with the quality of the story,
right?
And it can be funny. There were times it was funny, and it was funny because they were kind of drunk.
Yeah. No, I think that the whole I'm gonna tell a story with no script, and that with virtually no script, right? And then other people are gonna act it out, and they're gonna match the lip movements perfectly, and we're gonna make it funny because of that. I think that's cool. I think that's a cool concept. We used it in our Skywalker Saga Abridged series.
Our Skywalker Saga Abridged series is based off of this TV show.
Right, and big piece of shit Max Landis did it in Death Return of Superman, and wrestling isn't wrestling.
Exactly.
So it's definitely an art style, but I'm
big
not gonna...
piece of shit. Is he an asshole?
Oh, yeah, no, he's a big misogynistic
kidding.
asshole piece of shit who they wouldn't even... He wrote Chronicle, right? But the director wouldn't even let him on set because he's that big of a piece of shit. Yeah, it's not a secret. It's been a year or so. It was actually... No, never mind. I was about to say something totally wrong. But yeah, no, that guy sucks. And it will probably never make another movie. But I'm not going to sit here and say that I don't love Death or Superman and wrestling isn't wrestling. But what I was getting at is I'm sitting there watching that, and I'm like, this is cool, this is funny. Oh, they got Tony Hale, they got fucking Dave Grohl in it. This is awesome. They're doing this little thing. But I'm not going to lie, in the back of my head the whole time I'm just like, why do we need to be drunk? Why can't we just...
The point in being drunk is history is hard enough to remember and get the facts right.
Right.
Now let's screw with somebody, internally and see if they can still get the facts right. And when they don't, it's funny as shit.
No, I get it, and I feel like the fact that they were the guy who made it was like, and get this, they're gonna be drunk is what got him the television show.
Yeah.
But I'm not gonna sit here and say that I don't think that this show could have worked and been funny if we weren't drunk. If we were it was just like, I don't know what you'd call this, obviously, but like if it was just like famous person tries to explain history and does a poor job at it.
Well, that's the other thing too. Is this is the genius of it? Is Derek Waters, the host of the show?
Yeah, and probably the creator.
Yeah, leaves that up to the discretion of the person telling the story.
That's pretty cool. Yeah, once you told me that, I thought that was pretty cool.
Like Miranda.
Lin-Manuel Miranda, yeah. Which, by the way, everyone myself included, everyone pronounces his name Lin-Manuel Miranda. It's Lin-Manuel Miranda. So I don't know if I'm doing it wrong or if I'm doing it right. I don't know.
Well, he wasn't that drunk.
No, he wasn't that
drunk. Not at all.
You could tell he was playing it up a bit.
And sometimes they do that too. Sometimes they're genuinely wasted.
Yeah.
Sometimes they're playing it up. Sometimes they just don't get that drunk. And like Derek Waters isn't gonna there's literally times where they're like, you know how you saw like they'll be behind the scenes, they'll be at a piano, they'll be hanging out in the kitchen for a second. They'll be like, Derek, should I do another one? Should I do it? And he's just like, I don't know, man. That's up to you. I'm not gonna sit here and make you drink another drink.
That's cool.
But that's what I'm saying. So it's at the discretion of the storyteller. If that makes you feel any better, like nobody's forcing these people. They're not forcing alcohol down their throat to tell this story. They're just having fun that night. Whatever they want to do, they get to do. Yeah.
I think I will watch 5 more episodes of Drunk History with you.
All right.
And make this exchange with you. But I would prefer, and you could pick them yourself, but I would prefer if it was people I like knew.
Well, so that's what I'm going to try and do, and that's why I said you could pick is I want you to look at the list, and I either want the story to get you excited
or the
storyteller to get you excited. Because 9 times out of 10, it's a musician or it's a comedian.
Okay.
So based off of that, those are your storytellers. Musicians or comedians. That's who you get to pick from for the most part. I think there might be 1 or 2 outlanders in that.
Are there any, probably not, but just because of the nature of the show, are there any politicians who do an episode?
I don't think so. There could be.
Because this seems like prime time for a former president to go on and do this. You know?
No. There's nothing like that.
How we were talking about how Obama's like he did the Letterman hour thing, and he did the the Between Two Ferns and the.
There's nothing that crazy. It's mainly just because Derek Water himself is a comedian.
Yeah.
So literally, this show, much like Hamilton, is just him calling up his friends, and like obviously his friend group has grown, or people have heard about the show and said, "Hey, Derek, can I be on the show?" But like, that's all it is. He just gets famous people to come hang out with him, and they tell a historical
sorry,
story.
Chris, our podcast is up because the fireworks have started.
No kidding, Jesus! It's July.
It's
6th.
It's July 6th at 8:40, and I guess that's the hour at which podcast recording stops. No, but I did enjoy Drunk History.
Yeah.
Lots of first of all, Dave Grohl, weird.
Dave Grohl,
but awesome.
Not weird. He shows up randomly in not every episode, Jesus,
right.
But he's in like 3 or 4 episodes.
Dave Grohl, if that fucking Jack Black movie has taught me anything, Dave Grohl is like, "What do you want me to do? Yeah, I'll do that."
Yeah. No, he's super down. There's an episode with him and Jack Black in it.
Awesome. Cool. As the actors, as the portrayers, that's cool. What was that? Oh, there was just a lot of and by a lot of I mean 2. There was a lot of Arrested Development actors.
Yeah.
I thought that was funny.
I think that might have just happened to be that episode.
Yeah, because the I forget her name. I always forget her name. But the actress who plays, I forget her character name too. The daughter who likes Michael Cera.
Audrey Plaza.
No. Funnily enough, Michael Cera is also in Arrested Development.
Oh yeah.
No, the daughter character. She played Alexander Hamilton, and
Yeah.
Tony Hale, Buster from Arrested Development, played James Madison, right? James
Monroe.
James
Yeah.
Monroe. And I was just when they had the little like argument where Hamilton kept repeating himself, I just had this thought of like they've acted together in so many things. I think that woman has been in one thing that he hasn't been in.
Another cool thing about Drunk History
Yeah.
that you probably picked up on, which I'm really down for, and I really like that they did this, is it's entirely inclusive. They don't care what color skin you are. They don't care what
exactly
gender you
like
are.
Hamilton.
Yeah. Well, they take it a step further. They don't even care what gender you are.
Right,
You're
yeah,
gonna
no,
play
that's-
whatever role they feel like you can pull off.
Yeah.
Well,
they
and
do
that's
that
in
in
every episode. They don't care. Whoever's gonna do it best.
Do you think
that's who
they just
want.
like call up the 10 people and they're like, "Who do you want to play?"
Maybe, or they just have a person in mind.
Yeah.
Maybe they were like, you know, who would make a great Burr? Audrey Plaza.
Because they do that shit in shithead Max Landis does that shit in Wrestling Isn't Wrestling too,
Right.
where all the male wrestlers are female and all the.
He does it intentionally, though. I genuinely think they just don't care, because sometimes black person will be played by a black person, or a Japanese or a white person
white
be
or
played
a
by a
female.
anybody.
Yeah.
But
More often than not, it's who's a grab bag of who will
Right.
portray what.
Right.
Oh, that's cool. That's cool. I do dig that.
Yeah.
No, it seems
it's
like
a cool show.
It seems like a cool show. It seems like I'm glad we're doing this arrangement, because it seems like one I wouldn't want to sit through the whole thing. Just me personally, like the whole show, every episode of the show. Is what I'm saying.
Yeah. Well, no, that's the beauty too. Is let the story grab you, or let the storyteller grab you. You don't have to watch every single one
Right,
to
yeah.
like the show.
Oh, and you also, it does help that you don't have to watch them in any particular order.
Nope.
I think we jumped in. What was that, like season
Yeah.
4, episode 10 or something?
Yeah. But that's what I'm saying is, if the story grabs you, the storyteller grabs you, those are the ones I want to shoot for. Unless I know, because I've seen maybe all of them. I've seen most of them. Unless I know it's like ends up not being a good episode, then maybe I'll say, let's watch a different one.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of those though. But yeah.
No, that's cool. I'm down.
Expecto Patron.
Expecto. No, I don't even want to reference anything near that woman.
Oh shoot! No kidding. Well,
that's another podcast. We've been doing that all day.
Yeah.
You'll hear that in the Knives Out cinematic relief as well that we filmed earlier today.
that won't be out for another month.
No, expect Les Mis cinematic relief in the coming years.
Well, that's the thing. What's gonna happen first? Who's gonna pull the trigger first?
Well, I have both Hulu and Les Mis on DVD, so
Checkmate.
checkmate.
You have Hulu on DVD too, you say?
Wait, what? No,
You said I have both on DVD. Les Mis and Hulu.
Is that what I said?
Yeah.
No, I have both Hulu. Oh, yeah, you're right. I did say that. I have Hulu. Period. Full stop. I also happen to have Les Mis on DVD, maybe Blu-ray, but we'll see. Yeah. So that'll do it for this episode. Cinematic relief. We're pretty sure that
We're pretty sure that's what this one's gonna be.
we're pretty sure we just record. No. We discussed earlier today that Cinematic Relief is going to be weekly for the first couple weeks back from quarantine, and then we're going to switch to bi-weekly just to make it easier for us, especially because cinemas are closed, and I don't think I would go even if they were open right now.
God, no. Well, we will be going to one this week.
Yeah, but that's fucking different. We're going to a drive-through.
Drive-in.
Drive-in. What did I say?
Drive-through.
Drive-through is a restaurant
Which,
thing.
to be fair, you're a late 20th century man, now 21st century man. You're more used to drive-through than drive-in. But since this is the movie podcast, I also want to mention drive-ins are coming back. And
That's
it's
cool.
100% because of COVID. There's one in our local area, a Chinese food place just opened, I'll say Kowloon, Boston Kowloon's.
There's a drive-in at Kowloon's
There's
now?
now a drive-in at Kowloon's with bellhops.
That is so fucking on, like, brand with what they do at Kowloon's.
Yeah. And, like, I'm willing to say Boston radios are saying it. It's nowhere near Boston, really. So I feel like we can mention it without giving away the exact location of where we're based out of. Also, empty Walmart. Walmart is using their empty lots that don't always fill up all the way, and they're turning them into drive-ins.
That's pretty cool.
That is really cool.
Because it makes sense, because it's a completely safe, you're in the safety
Yeah.
of your own car.
Yep.
That'll do it for us for this episode of Cinematic Relief. I don't know what order these are coming out in. I know that this one is first, though. So welcome back to Cinematic Relief. We're here to stay unless there's a second, unless there's a second virus.
Or this one comes back, which, hey, history has told us it
yeah.
probably will.
It probably will.
This one will come out first. The next two are either going to be Knives Out or The Room. So enjoy those.
We filmed a third one that had no movie attached to it.
Christ.
So I literally don't know what I'm going to do next. But look forward to those.
Yeah.
And until next time, I've been Thunder.
And I'm Lightning.
Stay safe. Stay clean. I'll see you next time.